Hello everybody and welcome to the Chicago Street Course for the NASCAR Cup Series Grant Park 165 and the 20th race of our 2024 NR2003 season. After today, just 6 races remain in the regular season before we begin the Cup Series playoffs. Christopher Bell, he's been on a roll lately, lost to Kyle Larson in the front row, and an incredible start of the race from Christopher Bell. He shoots out like a rocket and is already clear of Kyle Larson going into turn 1. There goes C. Bell to the lead, and he is gone. Bell already driving away to a couple tenths gap back to the 5 of Kyle Larson, yesterday's winner in NR2003. Larson in second, SVG behind him in third, who's the favorite for today. Tyler Reddick fourth, got Chase Elliott back there fighting for a top 5 position. But what a start of this race by Christopher Bell. Look at the gap he is putting between him and Kyle Larson. An unbelievable start to this race for the 20. He's looking for his third win of the season. Course has 2 wins, one at Las Vegas and then one more recently a couple of races ago. As here at the front of the field, it is still, of course, Shebell leading over Larson, SVG there in third, Tyler Reddick fourth, Elliott fifth. So far, a far less chaotic start than the Xfinity Series race yesterday. Of course, we had cars going to Calamity Corner, which we are coming up on right now over here on this course, which is taking out countless drivers in the Xfinity race yesterday. We'll take anyone else here in the Cup race. So far, so good. Everyone making it through very nicely, being a lot more clean through the section. See if Ty Gibbs makes it through side by side with Cedric barely avoids the barrier. Joey Hand, Chris Buescher, Justin Haley all sneak by with their lives, avoiding slamming into that barrier and ending their day. Looks like they are a little bit cleaner today for the Cup Series race. It's Stenhouse, Wallace, Gralla at the back of the field trying to work their way forwards. But at the front of the field, Christopher Bell, after an incredible initial start to the race, has a huge lead over Kyle Larson in stage 1 here in Chicago. As now we're on to lap 16, Christopher Bell coming to put the 22 of Joey Logano 1 lap down. Some bad strategy has cost Joey Logano dearly, and Logano is now falling a lap down here in Chicago. And also of note, Denny Hamlin with Eric Jones and Zane Smith have DNF'd out of this race. Hamlin and Eric Jones like DNF'd on the opening lap. I guess both of them had electrical and engine issues that took them out, and then Zane Smith had a gearbox failure. Those 3 are out of the race. Logano and Haley both a lap down. Now on the last lap of stage 1, Christopher Bell continuing to dominate with a huge lead over Kyle Larson. Is just chasing down Austin Dillon, who's trying to hang on to the back end of the lead lap right now like his life depends on it. Does not want to lose that lap here. Dillon holding on for now. Bell trying to chase him back down here as he's following through. Bell going for a move now on the final corner of the racetrack here, turn number 14. Not quite able to make it. Austin Dillon will hang on to the lead lap here in Chicago as Christopher Bell dominates and wins stage 1 here in Chicago. Another playoff point to C. Bell's total. Here comes Kyle Larson, who just makes his way out of turn 12, and Larson will come home second in stage number 1. SVG comes through in third. Good run for him so far. Tyler Reddick fourth. Chase Elliott runs to the top 5. Then Michael McDowell 6th. Daniel Suarez 7th. Martin Truex 8th. Austin Cindric 9th. And Joey Hand in that stage 60 car for RFK gets a point. Shout out to Joey Hand getting the stage point. Now we get back underway in stage 2. Bell and Larson in the front row. Larson this time a much better restart than Christopher Bell. Almost clear. I think he is clear. Bell going to turn. Larson goes for the block, and C. Bell sends it in. Oh my goodness. What a move by Christopher Bell. He did not lift. He sent it on the inside of Kyle Larson. Moves him out of the way and is clear for the lead once again. Christopher Bell is putting everything on the line to get this win. My goodness. That boy is aggressive. Now here we are on lap 42, later in the stage, 6 to go in the stage. Larson and Bell coming up on lap traffic with SVG trying to chase it down. But here comes Larson making a move for the race lead on Bell. Bell's led basically every lap. Can Larson get by? No, he cannot. Bell holds the lead. Larson cannot get around him. And Bell putting himself in a great spot to win stage 2. And now on to the last lap of stage 2, chasing down Stenhouse. About to put him another lap down today as he's had a bit of a rough race in the 47. Bell for right now staying behind him, not ready to make a move yet. Nathan Austin Dillon probably just going to let Stenhouse stay on the lead lap. But no, Christopher Bell's going to go for the move very early in this final corner here, and Bell's going to get Stenhouse, looks like, coming out of the final corner here down pit road, and C. Bell indeed just avoids pit road. He'll put Stenhouse on our lap down, and Christopher Bell continues to dominate, sweeping the stages here in Chicago, winning stage 2. Larson second again. Now here comes the 9 of Chase Elliott to come home in third. Good stage points day for him. as well as the 99 of Daniel Suarez behind him, who comes home 4th in the stage. Martin Truex Jr. 5th, AJ Allmendinger 6th, Alex Bowman 7th, Joey Hand continues to impress in 8th, Michael McDowell 9th, and Austin Cindric gets the last stage point. So C. Bell sweeps the stages here at Chicago. Now on the restart of the final stage, 26 to go this time by Christopher Bell. Your leaders coming down pit road. Bell, Elliott, Suarez, Allmendinger, Bowman, all in the pit lane. Most of your leaders come down. The strategy really kicking off now. Nemechek in, Wallace is in, Dillon, Keselowski behind us, LaJoy. And that'll leave SVG and Chris Buescher on the front row here with 25 laps remaining here at the Chicago Street Course. Buescher on the inside now, going to be the outside here of SVG, and Chris Buescher gets a good turn one, and Buescher is clear for the race lead. The 17 of Chris Buescher, 18th on the playoff grid, must win scenario to get in the playoffs. And right now, this strategy, he is leading the way at the Chicago Street Course by beating Shane Van Gisbergen on the restart. An incredible move there from Buescher, beating SVG. So now he is ahead of the 16. He was in second, trying to make a comeback here to get his first career win in this universe. Of course, last season we didn't even race at Chicago because the track wasn't even ready in the game yet. We raced at Miami, and Christopher Bell, fittingly enough, won that race. Who's dominated today so far, but just came down pit road because he didn't have enough fuel. SVG is in second, still getting that first career Cup Series win, and select starts here in that number 16 Wendy Chevrolet for Kaulig Racing, tracking down Chris Buescher in the 17, who's trying to save his season with a win here and punch his ticket into the playoffs. SVG, though, hunting him down, but Buescher for the moment holding the lead. Then Truex, Larson, Cindric the rest of the top. How about Joey Hand in the 60 for RFK? Been top 10 all day long, continues to do so, and impress here in the streets of Chicago in his debut this season. Of course, he was very strong a couple of years ago when he made a couple of starts for Rick Ware Racing in the number 15 Ford Mustang. And now Chris Buescher holds off SVG for the race lead, and Chris Buescher leads the way with just 25 laps to go here in Chicago. And now I move on here now to about a little bit later, 19 to go in this race. Next up, SVG to the inside of Chris Buescher. Here comes Shane Van Gisbergen looking to take the lead and possibly the win away out of the final corner. Gets alongside Chris Buescher, but does not have the momentum on exit of the corner. Chris Buescher slides back in front, remains in the race lead, holding off Shane Van Gisbergen. Now caution's out on the racetrack here with just 3 to go. Big problems here. So what I was able to find what happened here was Austin Cindric, Martin Truex, got involved in an accident with Brad Keselowski, and so those guys are gonna, unfortunately for them, crash out of this race as Chris Buescher leads. So as you see there on the bottom of the leaderboard, Cindric and Truex and all them were scored out of the race. So you see that right there. They were not able to get restarted on this section of the race. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring ourselves to unprecedented Tory, our first ever NASCAR overtime here at Chicago. As we're back underway, Chris Buescher, SVG on the front row. A great restart from Shane Van Gisbergen here in overtime. Can he beat Chris Buescher to turn one? He is now in the preferred line, gets to the inside, gets the exit of one, and SVG takes the lead away here at the Chicago street race. And Joey Hand into second. How about this? 2 road course ringers looking for their first career wins here at Chicago with just 2 to go in NASCAR overtime. Can they make it back to the white flag before a caution comes out, or we will reset and we will do another overtime finish? But Shane Van Gisbergen still leading the way. Joey Hand behind him in second. Chris Buescher third. Kyle Larson fourth, and Ryan Blaney in fifth. Louis Buescher had such a bad restart, has fallen down to third. His chances of making the playoffs now have tanked in the standings as he had a must-win scenario, and he was looking like he was going to do just that, but that late caution for Cindric and Truex has cost him, as SVG now pulling away from Joey Hand out of the final corner, coming to take the white flag, this time by final lap here in Chicago, presented by Credit One Bank. Shane Van Gisbergen leading the way, looking to get his first career victory and upset the field here at Chicago, even though he comes in as the favorite. Of course, he won last season in real life in that unbelievable run in the number 91 for Trackhouse. Now in a Kaulig Racing number 16 with Wendy's on the hood is looking to drive away the victory. Joey Hand has had an impressive day in second, but does not have near the speed that SVG does, who is just pulling away, running an incredible overtime here. SVG just going through this inner portion of the course, absolute domination. I mean, just look at the skills of Van Gisbergen on these street courses. This has so much more experience than any of our main NASCAR Cup Series stars. Of course, their only race was last season. Now SVG just driving away now through this corner. It looks like he's got this win in the bag. It's over 1.5 seconds, almost 2 seconds back to Joey Hand in the 60. He was still hanging tough in second. I mean, Chris Buescher back in third has got to be thinking, what do I got to do to get a win? I mean, the racing guys have just done everything but give Chris Buescher a win this season in the game and in real life. He needs a break, but of course here does not get it, and it's still going to be below the cut line after this race, as SVG now has 2 more corners to negotiate. Gets one down now. SVG coming through the final corner here in the streets of Chicago. He is going to do what he did last year in real life, and that is win. Is down the front stretch for the final time. Shane Van Gisbergen wins in overtime of the Chicago Street Course. SVG with the win. Joey Hand in second. Chris Buescher heartbroken in third. Larson fourth. Blaney was the top 5. Kyle Busch, Ryan Preece, Tyler Reddick, Michael McDowell, and Todd Gilliland, the top 10 here at Chicago. What a drive from SVG in overtime. Gets his first career win here at the Chicago Street Course. Denies anyone else punching their tickets in the playoffs, mainly Chris Buescher. As you look at your final race results, of course, SVG gets the win, the unbelievable restart, and gets career win number 1. Joey Hand has an impressive day, getting stage points in both stages and coming home in the second position. Chris Buescher, man, he almost had that win. Ends up coming home disappointed in third after leading almost the entire final stage. Kyle Larson, top 5 all day, comes home fourth. Ryan Blaney came in below the cut line, still 5th place, good top 5 run for him. Kyle Busch, much needed 6th place finish. Great top 10 for Ryan Preece in 7th. Tyler Reddick, another bubble driver, good run for him in 8th. Then double front row top 10. Michael McDowell, Todd Gilliland, shout out to them for having a great run today. And then, of course, Chase Elliott, another one of our bubble drivers, 13th. So Blaney, even though he finished 5th, doesn't gain much on any of the other two because they got stage points. You see down the rest of the grid there, DNFs for Cindric, Truex, Keselowski, Zane Smith, Jones, and Hamlin. They all had their separate issues today. I mean, it's a shame for Truex. He had a top 5 car all day long, but had that wreck at the 3 to go. So now we look at the playoff grid with just 6 races remaining until the NASCAR Cup Series playoffs begin. The only notable changes are Christopher Bell jumps ahead of Kyle Larson for second, as Bell now leads the league in stage wins, and then Byron jumps Bubba Wallace in the point standings and in the playoff grid. On the bubble, Chase Elliott, Tyler Reddick still comfortably above the cut line. Over a full race, each of them. Chase Elliott 124 to the good, Reddick 75 to the good. So Blaney still, everyone Blaney below, still all in must-win situation right now. Blaney out by 75, Buescher out by 101 after almost winning. Then Suarez and Berry each out by over 150 points. So until next episode, we'll be racing at Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. I hope you all have a good one.